The first time he's ever been on KSR, Archie Goodwin joins us. Archie, man, like I said, I think it's your first time here. Welcome to KSR.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm happy to be here.
You know, they tried to get you to play last year. I guess you'd already committed to somebody else. Mm-hmm. Went out and made you a commitment to get you early this year. Did you want to play with this group of guys?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Last year it was really just a miscommunication between me and 20. I think that because I think he tried to reach out to me, but I didn't see the message. Because of the platform he used, the message disappeared, so I didn't see it. But if that wouldn't have happened, I would have played last year. Especially with one of my guys, Bled. Me and him are really close. So, because we played with the Suns together. So it would have been a no-brainer for me last year. Had that communication not failed through, but I knew going after last year playing, I told 20, like, man, if I do play in it this year, it'll be with you guys, so you don't have to worry about that.
Awesome.
Yeah, last year, not just played, one of the stars of the whole tournament. He was getting buckets, and Kentucky fans were saying, what is Archie doing on that other team over there? So we're glad to have you, though, but you are experiencing this tournament, just not with La Familia. Do you feel like, it's been a couple of years, right? Two or three?
I played in it maybe 4 times.
Okay, a lot more than that. All right. Yeah. Well, regardless, the experience you have in it, are you able to pass that along to some of the new guys? Do you feel like that really helps you in knowing what to expect going into it this year with the new team?
Yeah, at the end of the day, you're dealing with a lot of pros. So, basketball is basketball at the end of the day. We have a good group of guys who know how to play the game. And, in practices, we look really well with sharing the ball with each other and being really selfless. So, I think that as long as we keep that mindset and the defensive mindset going into it, we can beat anybody because we have the talent.
Now, you said you played with Eric Bledsoe with the Suns. We just had Willie Cauley-Stein on. He said he was your teammate for a year. Mm-hmm. Where was that, with the Kings?
No, he was with here. He was my teammate.
Oh, the UK.
Yeah. The Nerlens team, the young Willie.
Mm-hmm. The young, quiet Willie. That was Willie before the tattoos. That was the young.
Was that blonde hair Willie? Was that team?
That wasn't blonde hair. That was baby little Afro Willie. It wasn't until I think his sophomore and junior year where he started getting more comfortable and really being able to find who he is as a person and being able to express it at the level he wanted to. I think that first year he was kind of conservative. But, as he got more comfortable, he became, the great Willie that we know now.
We're going to go this route, but we've mentioned the Suns twice. I have a quick story and a thank you. I was going to see DeMarcus Cousins and the Kings by myself. Flew out alone. DeMarcus got me tickets behind the bench. On my layover in Denver, I think, opened my phone, Cousins suspended, will not play. I almost went home. I went anyway. Cousins wasn't even allowed in the arena, and I still got my one ticket behind the bench. Thank you, Archie Goodwin had 30 points on the other team that night. I'm sure you remember that game with the Suns. I think Bledsoe, that was the team.
Yeah.
But I got to thank you. I flew across the country to see one former Cat. He wasn't even allowed in the building, and then you ended up – that had to have been one of your career games in the league.
That was that was the last game of the season for us. And Coach told me before the game I was going to play just to be ready because that year, rookie year, I go for rookies up and down. And so I knew I was going to play coming in, so I just came in with an aggressive mindset. And, we won the game and everything. Yeah, I remember that.
Well, there's a guy in a Kings shirt behind the Kings bench going crazy with each shot. So thank you for saving my trip.
That's dope, man. That's really dope right there.
Most of a Big Blue Nation, if they had to give a do-over for one team, it would have been your team. Mm-hmm. When Nerlens went down, I think you guys all deserved a do-over, I think. You kind of got cheated a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a couple things about that year. First, when Nerlens got hurt, I think that definitely hurt us. We were top 25 before he got hurt.
Yeah.
I remember like it was yesterday, we was on the road playing against Florida. And before the injury, we were right there in the game with those guys. And then he gets, the devastating ACL tear. And then from there, because he was our anchor defensively. And, like I say, with Willie and Alex, they became great players. But at that time, they just were still new, and they were not who they became to be as those years went on.
Right.
So we needed Nerlens to be able to help those guys, and because it was a comfort knowing that we had him back there to throw lobs to, but also the defensive presence to tunnel guys to him, and be the defensive guy he was. And when you lose that's hard for anybody. I think another thing that kind of hurt us that year was realistically the championship that the team won before us because, for us to be a 20-plus win team and still be number 2 in the SEC and not make the tournament, I do feel like we got jacked a little bit because of that. We did lose some games, but I've seen plenty of Kentucky teams that lost games and still made the tournament.
Yeah.
And for us to finish, like I said, number 2 in the SEC at the end, and we still didn't get the bid, was kind of crazy to me. It didn't seem right. For there to be a power conference and us to finish number 2 and not get the bid still didn't make sense to me. And then we just went into that NIT not really. We were kind of down. As a young group, we were kind of down because we felt we didn't get a fair hand. And then on top of that, us being the number 1 overall seed and having to play at the team.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Memorial was being used.
Yeah, so we couldn't even play at our home thing, and we had the number 1 overall seed, so we were on the road the whole time. It didn't make sense, and guys just weren't mentally there as a young group. It was just kind of hard for us. But also, the last thing I'm gonna say that I felt like could have helped us was me being at the point guard at the beginning. I think that helped us a lot as a group. I don't know if you guys remember, but Ryan was the point guard at first, and then he had his stuff going on.
Yeah.
Then I went into the point guard role, and I went into that point guard role. We were top 10 in the country. Like, we were a top 10 team. We were right there with Duke. We lost one to Notre Dame on the road, and then I think that's when Ryan came back. And then coach inserted him back as the point guard for us, and we just kind of had up and downs because for me in my game, if you remember Coach Cal's offense, his 2 guards, Deron Lamb, Darius Miller, Liggins was a 2-3, but his 2 guards are predominantly guys who catch and shoot. I play off of floppy action. He did a lot of that with the run, which was where he thrived at. But for me, that wasn't my game. My game was more downhill transition, more like a John Wall type player.
Yeah.
John Wall's a better passer than me, but as far as being able to get into the rim and get downhill and put pressure on the defense on the fast break standpoint, that was my game, and that was more predicated for a point guard in Coach Cal's system. And so I thrived a lot during that time as the point guard, where I was getting a lot of my praise, and then when I moved to the 2, where I was in more of a catch and shoot role, it kind of went down. And so to the outside guys or to the public who don't really understand what's going on, it's like, oh, he's getting worse. So like that was the theme of the year, like, oh, Archie's getting worse. It's not necessarily I'm getting worse. I'm just in a different position, and I'm not being used how I was being used at the beginning, which was to my strengths, because at that time shooting wasn't a strength of mine. Like, I was more of a downhill player.
Right.
And even still to this day, like, I'm a way better shooter now, but I'm still a downhill player. And so, like, it works when you give me the ball and let me play downhill. Then I can get and create, and I can get into the rhythm of shooting.
Yeah.
So I think that, me being used the way I got used at that second half of the season, it hurt us as well because I wasn't able to really put pressure on the defense like I wanted to. And then what did that result in? There was a lot of times where I would kind of get antsy and try to force things and, trying to force and trying to integrate myself into the game because I wasn't being able to really get used that way. Because, like I say, if you look at at Coach Cal's teams, I would say what year was that? It was one year where he had I'm not even going to say the year D Booking was here. Maybe a year or so after that. Maybe after Shea's year, because you got to think every year since he's gotten here, it was point guard university. That's what he was called.
Oh, yeah. Right.
So, like, the point guards, they run the show, and all of them are downhill guys. You know what I mean? Like, the only guy maybe that wasn't downhill would be like a Tyler Eulis. But even Tyler Eulis, he's so crafty and quick to get in the lane.
Right.
He could still get there whenever he wanted and make plays. He was probably one of the better shooting point guards that Coach Cal had. But, like, from John Wall, you can go back to Derrick Rose, Tyreek Evans, John Wall, Brandon Knight, Shea, De'Aaron Fox, Jamal Murray. Like, Jamal Murray is more of a shooter too, but he was athletic and can get downhill. But a lot of the point guards were downhill players. And for me, and the discussions that we had prior to me coming was he was going to allow me to play that point guard some, which I thrived in when I was there. And I'm sorry to be a little long-winded, but I just never have gotten this opportunity to explain this to people because I got a lot of slack that year, and people wondering what was the problem. You know what I'm saying? And I've never gotten a chance to really express how I felt about that year and what I think could have helped us. I don't think that it was necessarily that I'm not going to put it like, oh, Coach Cal is the problem. He wasn't. That if he would have allowed me to stay at that point guard position, it would have helped us way more, especially when Nerlens getting hurt. Like, I would have been able to take on a bigger
Just hearing
role.
you talk, Drew, it's like he's therapy. It's like, we got therapy, talking it through, getting through it, talking about, what was going on. Because,
I was about to say, don't apologize for being long-winded. That was the best answer I think we've ever had for any question for a player about anything.
It was coming from his heart. You can tell, man.
Very
it's coming
detailed.
from my heart. I want to let the people know, man. This is what I was feeling. What was going on at that time?
For sure.
So.
And it was tough, man, because being a young kid and getting so much, like you guys know, I caught a lot of slack that year for a lot of the problems that was going on with our team, and rightfully so. Me being one of the better players, I take that on the chest. But when you can't do anything about it because of because I've had conversations with Coach, and I remember going to him and asking him, like, Coach, I would love to play the point, and he just basically told me, like, I want you to play the point, but we got to let Ryan play it, and I need you on the court, so we got to put you at the 2. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. I'll try to do it the best I can. I just knew that at that time, and his offense at that time, the 2 was made for, pure shooters.
Yeah,
right. And so, and if you can remember, that's when Julius Mays started playing a lot for us because he was our best shooter. So, you put him at the 2, now I'm at the 3. And it got him a little better because now I'm more of a slashing, cutting role, which is cool. But like I said, once again, I was brought here as a top 10 player in the country off of me playing with the ball in my hands,
to the
rim, putting pressure on guys.
Well, if you sit tight, can you sit tight for one more segment? Because Drew's got a question he's been waiting to ask you for 13 years.
For sure.
It's a question and a compliment.
So we'll take our break. We'll come back. Got a lot more with Archie Goodwin